Hello everyone, today is the 17th of June 2026, and I'm going to talk about oil prices, sharing with you critical market update. As everyone is seeing, the crude oil price collapsed in the past week after Trump and Iran announced they agreed on the text of a MOU. Traders literally stampeded one on top of the other to short crude oil futures. I want to make one thing clear. My approach to analysis and commentary is to stick to the numbers and to reality. I aim to be objective. Then, personally, if I see an opportunity, I position accordingly or not. I'm not the type of person who sees a great deal of data pointing one way and then ignores it because the price moves in the opposite direction. I don't make up a narrative or do a U turn to adapt to what financial markets dictate. That is different from what some high profile analysts and commentators have been doing. Those people cannot afford to be wrong, even for a short period of time. They have to bend over to the narrative of Wall Street, carry on with their business, and preserve their image. Let's never forget, if you don't tell Wall Street what they like to hear, they will ultimately ignore you. You will not be invited on CNBC anymore. You will not be invited to write opinions on Bloomberg or on the Wall Street Journal. Eventually, even if you're proven right and the market turns in your direction, by that time, you will have been completely forgotten. I'm not in this racket whatsoever. I share with everyone objective analysis and data points for their own consumptions and rational thinking. Everyone is free to do whatever they want in the market. Traders stay out of it as they see fit. Before we begin with today's update, if you enjoy my content and want to support me, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notifications. So, here is what I think is happening. 2 weeks ago, Trump was informed about inventories approaching critically low levels. This would have forced the price to snap back to reality because soon there would not have been enough crude oil to fulfill all the demand hitting the US, that doubled its exports compared to pre-war levels. Something that has been possible because the US has been exporting its crude oil commercial and strategic inventories to allies to stabilize the market and avoid immediate shortages. In the past 2 weeks, Trump has done all he could to reopen the Strait of Hormuz. He ended up accepting all the unacceptable Iranian requests that never changed since April. Now, the US government is rushing to reopen the Strait of Hormuz. They aim to restore traffic to the pre-war state. Objectively, this is impossible to achieve. There are mines in the water. Iran has a strong grip over it. The war damages will take months to repair, and the shipping industry is unwilling to enter into the strait until there is 110% certainty that the conflict won't escalate again. The Israeli army is also still in Lebanon and has no intention to leave. Objectively, this means there should not be any official MOU signature between the US and Iran on Friday. Withdrawal from Lebanon and the end of the war on all fronts was one of the red lines Iran never compromised on. However, who knows? Maybe for the benefit of the cameras, they will still go ahead. But in the background, the real 60 days peace negotiation will not start till all the commitments in the MOU are fulfilled. Furthermore, Trump already said in the New York Times interview on Monday that if he doesn't reach a satisfactory agreement with Iran in those 60 days, especially on the enriched uranium topic, he will resume the military campaign against Iran. So far this week, there has been no meaningful pickup of traffic in the Strait of Hormuz, despite Trump's rush to announce it was fully reopened and traders cheerfully celebrating it. You can observe how buyers around the world are still sitting on the sidelines. They are waiting for Trump's promise there will be a flood of oil they can pick up at a cheap price. However, winter restocking is now over a month late in many countries. Peak driving season is starting. India is already rationing fuel. At the same time, Russia is starting to ration gasoline and diesel at the pump too, as per the headline reported yesterday. Shortages still totally ignored by traders. Refining spreads are also still close to the peak, and this is a sign of how strong demand it is. And on top of this, demand is building up in the background because many buyers have been sitting out in the market. They simply kept drawing down inventories at a pace that is completely unprecedented. This is the reality I'm describing to you today. Traders are clearly sticking their heads deep into the sand to avoid seeing it. They are betting on a Trump's miracle. But let's be honest, the last time I checked, miracles only exist in the Bible. Trump will not be able to restore the Strait of Hormuz to the state it was on the 27th of February before the war started. Trump won't be able to materialize with a magic wand 1.3 billion barrels of oil supply that have been lost over the past 100 days. Trump won't be able to magically repair oil infrastructure that has been damaged in months of war in the blink of an eye. This is what the market is betting heavily on. As we know, the market is also heavily manipulated, with manipulation throwing gasoline on the max bearish momentum we see right now. But the reality is about to hit, and is about to hit very hard. Why? For the first time ever, we are going to see the SPR at all-time lows. This has been confirmed this week with 340 million barrels, and we know they are going to down all the way potentially to 250 million barrels. Commercial inventories are at the multi-year lows for this time of the season. Cushing inventories at the Oklahoma hub are going to hit tank bottoms of 20 million barrels of oil today. After the preliminary crude oil report released on Tuesday by ABI, in several hours, the EIA is going to report the largest crude oil inventory draw in history. And this continues a streak of massive drawdowns that will continue for months. And the market is completely ignoring it. The market is completely ignoring the fact that even if the Strait of Hormuz magically snapped back to normal today, it takes months for ships to go back in, come around, and reach their destination. Personally, this is not the first time I'm going through an incredible market manipulation. However, unlike silver, which is a niche market compared to crude oil, I never saw the rubber band stretched so much. Everyone is betting on a Trump miracle, completely ignoring reality. But as all executive insiders keep warning, once you reach that bottom, reality strikes, and it will strike very hard. That is when you will start seeing oil prices suddenly shoot up. There will be not enough available crude oil inventory to fulfill all the demand out there. Buyers will have to start competing among each other to secure supply. We are getting to this stage at a very critical juncture in market. Eventually, as I keep warning, I will not be shocked if we see the complete opposite situation to what we saw on the 20th of April 2020. Back then, the market completely got its math wrong. It missed the fact that oil tanks were getting full. Then when it came to the realization that there was no more storage available, the price crashed to negative. Today, we are going in the opposite direction. On top of this, there is an incredible amount of short position in the market. As you can see across the board, this is the reason why the price manipulation is being so effective. What's also exacerbating this is what is called in a jargon, reverse gamma squeeze. Long story short, I don't know if it is going to happen in a week, in a month, later in the year, whatever. But the crude oil market is like blood for the human body. You don't need the blood to go to zero to have problems in your body. The problems will start as soon as the pressure is too low to support all vital functions. That is the point when the market will snap back and hit the wall of reality. If people start to panic, you might see incredible things happen. No one knows the timing, but as per the objective data, everyone is betting on hope. But the reality is completely different. If you dismiss this scenario, be aware you are doing it at a great risk. Thanks a lot for listening to my update today. Thank you for supporting me on X and for reading my research on justdiario.com. I wish everyone a nice day. Bye.